If you've ever been on LinkedIn and searched for job openings at AWS, then it's highly likely you will have seen the job title Solutions Architect. But what does a Solutions Architect at AWS actually do? Well, I've been working at AWS as an SA for just over 2 years now, and in this video I'm going to explain what I get up to. Now there's going to be loads of great info in this video, but before we get started, it's time for a coffee. So when AWS first started out, there wasn't actually any technical customer-facing roles. There were a handful of services, there were the product teams building those, and then there were the early adopter customers who were using those services to build applications online. But as the company grew and it attracted different types of customers with different levels of cloud maturity, it became quite clear that there needed to be a technically focused customer-facing role to help customers design and build their architectures. And so the first Solutions Architect role at AWS was born. The Solutions Architect job role is actually an umbrella term for a number of different types of Solutions Architect at AWS. In general, there are 3 types of Solutions Architect, and although each one has their own nuances, in general, the core responsibilities of the role remain the same. And that's the aspect that I'm going to be focusing on in this video. The first type of Solutions Architect is the Account Solutions Architect. This is the most general type of SA, and they are typically assigned to one or more customer accounts. When you join AWS as a customer, you'll be provided with an account team. One of the core members of the account team is the Account Solutions Architect, and this person is your technical point of contact within AWS. The Account SA is there to help you materialize and think through all of your technology initiatives. And this means, as an Account SA, you're exposed to a broad number of AWS solutions and services, as well as the technologies that customers may be using. So you could be getting queries from containers through to analytics, through to data processing, and even AI and ML. It's a really broad role at AWS, and it exposes you to a wide number of AWS services. It's a really great role for getting exposed to a number of different AWS services, and account SAs are typically split up by business type, so for example enterprise, mid-size or startup, or by industry vertical, so public sector or financial services. AWS is always innovating on behalf of the customer, and this means there's a constant influx of new features and new services. And as an account SA, it's incredible. As a solutions architect on the whole, it's great to be able to learn about these new services and features that are coming out, but it can be difficult to keep on top of them all the time. So this means if your customer has a deep technical question or a query in an area that you're not familiar with as an account SA, then you can reach out to a different type of SA called the Specialist Solutions Architect. The Specialist Solutions Architect isn't typically assigned to a customer long term. They're typically assigned by a technology domain. So they could be container specialist, serverless specialist, database specialist, networking, security, or in my case, migration and modernization specialists. The specialist SA is engaged when the account team needs further technical depth or expertise in a particular area. The third and final type I will be covering today is the partner SA. The AWS partner network has tens of thousands of partners all working with customers to help them deliver on AWS. Now those partners often need an interface into AWS, and this is where the Partner Solutions Architect comes in. So the Partner SA helps their partner in particular customer challenges. They help with partner enablement, partner growth, and partner support. Now naturally, the Solutions Architect role is a technically focused role, and we help our customers to achieve their business challenges through designing solutions on AWS. But what does that actually mean in a day-to-day context? At a high level, the the solutions architect role is split into two broad areas. The first is the customer advisor, which makes up the bulk of the role, and the second is the scaling or enablement part of the role, which makes up a smaller part but is no less important. So this part of the role is all about helping customers design AWS solutions to help meet their technical and business challenges. And the reason I included the word business in there is because a key ethos at AWS is to work backwards from the customer's business challenges and provide a technology solution that helps address them. So an example of a business challenge is that customers are unable to place an order on your website. In addition to this, this is also damaging your brand's reputation. Now, there could be a number of reasons as to why the end customer can't place orders on your website. But let's just say that your customer has done some digging into the metrics and into the logs, and they've determined that their front-end web servers can't actually handle a load of the traffic that's generated when the marketing team are running social media campaigns. So now that we've identified a technical reason behind this business challenge, we can begin to address the problem at hand. Outputs of this type of engagement can include a high-level architecture diagram. It could be a demo that you've put together to show the customer of how the solution works. It can be some enablement to teach the customer of how to actually implement what you're saying and to teach them more about the technologies that you're recommending. And it can also be some sort of scalable mechanism, which I will touch upon later on this video, where you can share this knowledge with other customers in a one-to-many fashion, meaning that those customers can also address a similar type of business problem. Now, not all customer engagements are going to be reactive like this one. This was just an example, but some will be more proactive. And what I mean by this is either the customer has identified a new market or product they want to launch, or you as part of the account team have identified certain challenges that they're having on the AWS platform, and so you put a plan in place and a design in place to help remediate those. A key part of this role is the learning and research side. And this is fantastic if, like me, you're someone who's passionate about learning more and about developing their skill set. This is really important because when you talk to customers, you'll often be faced with technologies or methodologies that you've never come across before. And so you need to go ahead and research and find out a bit more about how they work so that you can suggest an appropriate solution. This can seem like a daunting prospect at first because often you can come across technologies that you're completely unfamiliar with, or technologies that have been created before you even ever started working. But the great thing about working at AWS is that you're never really alone. There's always someone out there who's really willing to help you, and generally 9 times out of 10 you will find an expert in the subject that you want to learn more about. The other thing it allows you to do is to push yourself to become more resourceful, to know where to look for information. It builds your technical depth, and also as you reach out to help from other people, it begins to build your internal network within the company. I'm going to be making a whole video around this topic because it's really important for succeeding at your career, not just at AWS, but at any company. And this is the ability to communicate your ideas with different types of people, both technically inclined and non-technically inclined, and be able to share your idea with them and ensure that they understand the implications, the benefits and the drawbacks of your idea. Another really important skill set when being a solutions architect is managing expectations, making sure that everybody understands what they're responsible for and when it's going to be delivered. So let's imagine you worked for yourself and you've launched a new product. A customer comes up to you and asks what the product does. You spend 10 minutes explaining the features of the product, why they should use it, the benefits, all those types of things. The customer is then satisfied and they go away, or they have some more follow-up questions for you. Now, this is okay for the first 10 customers, but what about when that number reaches 1,000 or 10,000? You can't keep going back to explain the exact same thing to every single customer. So wouldn't it be really useful if there was some sort of central place that when people ask these types of questions, you can proactively have that information available for them to consume. And if they have further questions, then they can come to you and ask you in a one-to-one setting. Now, this same concept applies with technology and with the AWS platform. There are core services where the information required to use them, or the methodologies or the thinking around using those services, can be shared in a one-to-many format online or through presentations or through talks. This makes working as a solution architect far more efficient because then you can spend your time on the activities that really make a difference to customers. At AWS, we call this scaling. So scaling is anything that is a one-to-many type of event. So this could be a blog post that you've written which details how you manage to solve a problem or a common customer problem that you've seen. And so this way, if another customer asks you about that, you can go ahead and point them to the blog. Or if someone does a Google search, they'll come across the content that you've written. Something else is presentations and on-stage talking. So again, this is a one-to-many audience where you're sharing ideas in a live fashion to a number of people in the audience. Training and enablement through workshops is also a great way of scaling your knowledge. This is because you can build a workshop that others can follow in their own time, they can absorb the knowledge, and then they can go ahead and experiment themselves. And the whole idea here is that you are disseminating the knowledge that you have to other people whilst you're constantly learning yourself about the new areas that are coming up in your field. That way, when customer queries come up and deeper questions come up, you're prepared to answer them and you have the time to answer them properly. So at a really high level, that's what a solutions architect role encompasses at AWS. Now, of course, there's loads more to it, and I am planning to make some more videos going deeper into exactly what I get to on a day-to-day basis with customers, with learning myself, with doing workshops, with writing blogs and the whole scaling piece. And so if this is something that you'd like to see, in addition to more sort of tech career, tech productivity videos, please do consider subscribing to my channel.